they can hear me. Hi everyone, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and welcome to my impromptu live video. Who is going to join me? I'm not sure this is going to be more than 10 minutes, so if you're able to catch me live, congratulations to you. Let me try and invite a few persons. I'll tell you why I'm doing this live video in a minute. I'll tell you why I'm doing this live video in a minute. So, I'm on site, I'm on inspection. I'm not even on inspection actually. I'm on site and we're trying to conduct the last stage of our legal due diligence that we're doing for a client. You know, today I want to talk about legal due diligence, what you need to do before you purchase that property. I know I always talk about business and law and everything, but trust me, even for your business, at some point you're going to want to, you know, you're going to want to purchase property for your company. You're going to want to invest in real estate for your company. So it's better you know what the legal due diligence check, um, what legal due diligence check you need to do. I beg your pardon, so that you will not shed premium tears. And I'm going to use this particular um, client as an example. Of course, names withheld and location withheld as well. Yeah, name, location, and everything withheld. But so this client bought this property and he paid without doing all of what he's supposed to do. Like there was no due diligence check. He didn't verify the title of the vendor. Nothing was done, and he sort of took a huge risk. And of course, he reached out to us, and we stepped in, and were able to correct some of the anomalies. So what we're doing here is I came here with the surveyor to take the coordinates of the property so that we can have our own survey plan. So when you say or when you hear people saying come and buy property, it's not just about exchanging your money and they telling you, okay, you have this document. There are a series of things that you're supposed to do. And I'm sharing this with you because even your business needs its own assets. For now, you may be in a rented apartment for your business or even for your residential use, but at some point in your life you're going to want to get properties. And if you're getting properties for commercial use or for residential, especially when you're getting from developers and real estate agents, it's important that you know all of the legal due diligence check that you're supposed to do. So, for example, one of the things that we did is to, first of all, establish that there is a contract between the vendor and the buyer who happened to be our client. And in order for us to even do that, remember I said that money had passed. Now, these are the things you're supposed to have done before you even put in your money, and this is some serious money. So before you invest your money to say that you're buying this property, there are some things you're supposed to do. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, people feel like legal due diligence on property purchase is overrated. Like they feel like it's too much and property lawyers just want to take 10% and all of that. But no, there is more to buying property than just giving your money and getting a contract or getting a deed of assignment. So one of the things you're going to do, just in case you are a victim of that situation, and by a victim I mean that just in case you you did not do your legal due diligence check before making payment for that property, what you can do is step in, ensure that you're proactive to remedy the situation. So first of all is insist on getting a receipt for the money paid. Now, a receipt alone will not transfer title. So I see that a lot of purchasers make this mistake. They buy property, they transfer huge amount of money, like good millions of naira, and all they have for it is a receipt. Now, you might be very pathetic case would be when you don't even have a receipt to even show, because usually the receipt is just an evidence of payment of some money, right? It does not transfer title in what you're paying for. So like my client case, he paid me and there was no receipt. Like this is the heart of Lagos, so the heart of Lekki, there was no receipt. And then we said, first of all, let's get the receipt. Then second of all, since this is supposed to be like a fully furnished apartment, right? Duplex that you're buying. Let's ensure that there is even a contract. So one of the documents you're going to need, if you're working with a good property lawyer, someone who understands and knows how to protect your interest as a buyer, is to ensure that you have your contract of sale. Now, this contract of sale also does not transfer title. So you actually want to be sure that title is properly transferred, because it does not transfer title. But you just want to have it, like let it just be known that, okay, there's something, we had some sort of agreement. So the contract of sale is an agreement to sell the property to you. Now, remember that you've made the mistake of transferring your money without a consequent transfer of interest, right? So I've talked about insisting on getting a receipt. I've also mentioned the fact that your lawyer needs to prepare a document called before the deed of assignment, that's like the ultimate. But before the deed of assignment, at least have a contract of sale, which is basically an agreement that the vendor made with you, to sell this property to you. And why you're insisting on this at this stage is because you've already made payment. By the way, if you had not made payment, these are all parts of the legal due diligence check, preliminary information inquiries that you're supposed to make. Now, depending on where the property is located, you're going to have to do comprehensive search. Now, why you need to even do, it may look like medicine after death, but it's not medicine after death, and I'll tell you why. When you have a contract of sale, one of the clauses that a good lawyer would include in the agreement is that the vendor agrees to do everything necessary to ensure that title properly passes to the buyer. So, and by that, it means that if he's supposed to render or provide some information which will make it easy and necessary for you to perfect your title, to really have the full right over the property, then he's undertaking to do that. So, on the basis of that, you can sue on that. But like I said, the document alone on its own is not transferring title. So you actually have to ensure that you take steps to perfect your title. Then, after you've requested for the contract of sale, you're now expected to do comprehensive search to verify the title of the vendor. Now, this is the first thing you're supposed to have done. So when you say you want to buy a property, or real estate agents come to you and say, we have this property for sale and all of that, the first thing you want to do is to do a comprehensive search. And a search is not, you don't just say, oh, okay, I know the person, oh, he's a very trusted person, he's this, is that. That's not search. Like, that doesn't qualify, it doesn't count for search. And as far as verifying the title of the vendor, is concerned, it also goes beyond what the vendor is telling you. So the vendor might be telling you this. For example, this particular property that we're helping our client to perfect. I mean, we're at the last stage. We're at the last stage. I came here today with the surveyor for the purpose of preparing the survey plan. So that's also one of the documents. Perhaps I should really even start talking about this thing, because this not one, not two, not three. We've had a lot of people, always make the same mistake. They don't know what documents to look for. They don't know how to verify the title of the people they are buying property from. They don't know where to go to. They really don't know anything beyond paying their money and hoping that they have actual title. See, one of the most recurrent cases in our legal system in the court is property. And property cases can be in court for as much as 10, 15 years. You're still on it. Do you understand? So you want to be sure that you do the right thing and you're well protected from the word go. So yeah, I talked about doing your own search, a comprehensive search beyond what I need to drop my bag. So doing a comprehensive search beyond what the vendor tells you. So I'll use an example, like this particular one. The vendor insisted that he had perfected his title. But when we went to the land registry, and this is one of the places where you would go to, conduct search. If you're buying property in an urban area, for example, let's say in a place like Lekki, or I mean in any urban area, especially in Lagos, you should expect that such titles would have been registered. So we found out that indeed there was record for the property and other related properties, but the record did not, nothing in the record showed the name of our vendor. So that sort of, brought up an issue. And we realized that, okay, he had initiated the process, but he hadn't completed it. Well, thank God that this particular vendor is a, I mean, he's a good person and he knows what he's doing. So recently we just found out, okay, so they've completed the process, and I've seen evidence that, okay, they've completed all of their process. But guess what will happen? Some vendors they've not done anything. And when his title is defective, when he has not perfected his title, there is a problem, especially if you are purchasing this property with the aim of perfecting your title. And so let me just quickly explain what I mean by perfecting title. Perfecting title is ensuring that your title is registered, that you're the duly registered title owner. So let's say you bought the, and that's why when you're describing the property, the ownership of the property, one of the first place that you need to start the search from is to look at the root of title. The root of title is like the series of ownership before it finally landed on your lap. Who was the person that owned the property before you, and the person that owned the property before that person. So it's a whole lot, right? And so you cannot even joke about doing all of these searches. They're like very key, unless you have money to waste, unless you have time to be in court every now and then. So after conducting an extensive search, so I'm doing this because I have some time. I'm waiting for the surveyor. Once it's done, I would leave and then I would need to end this video. But I promise to share more insights on property transactions, especially as it relates to business owners, because like I said, that's one investment opportunity that is available if you're a company. If you own a business, right, instead of piling up your money, you could really invest in real estate, buying properties for your company and all. But you need to ensure that you're doing the right thing. You need to ensure that you're well protected. So there are, aside from going to the registry to verify your title, you might also have to do other form of search. You might have to go to, depending on where the property is, you might have to check adjoining properties. You might have to ask around the community. You might have to trace the title back to, let's say, the third owner or the fifth owner or the fourth owner before you, and begin to trace until it gets to, the part of your vendor. And ultimately, you might have to, if it is a property in an urban area, you might have to go to the, in fact, not might, you will have to go to the land registry and also verify the title. Once you've been able to verify the title, then it shows that these people have actual right to transfer. And so it will be easy for you to perfect your own title. It will be easy for you to register your own title, because maybe I'll share that in another video. When your vendor's title is not perfect, when your vendor's title is defective, he will not be able to validly transfer to you. And if he does that, you would not be able to perfect your own title. So what would happen usually is to go back to the vendor of your vendor and ask him to perfect. And who knows, what if your vendor's vendor is no longer available? So that's on that. So I'm still talking about the legal due diligence checks that you need to do. After perfecting title, you need to have the exact coordinates of your own property. And so you need to have your survey plan and get a surveyor to prepare a survey plan for you. So the survey plan will show, because it could be a wide expanse of land, right? You just want to be specific. You want to be very sure on what portion belongs to you. The surveyor will do that. They will take the coordinates and they'll prepare the survey plan. And you cannot really prepare a deed of assignment on a property without the survey plan. I see a lot of people do that. And listen, when you're buying, the next time you're buying your property, it should be your own lawyer who should prepare the deed of assignment. Why is this important? Because you're the one parting with the money. It is you whose interest will be jeopardized if the transaction is not perfected. It is you who would lose money. It is you who would lose the property. like it is your own interest that is at stake. It is not even that of the buyer. So in the purchase for any property, as so long as it is a purchase and not a rent, it should actually be your lawyer who should prepare the title document, because they would have your interest. If the vendor's lawyer prepares the document, the lawyer will prepare the document um, in a way that suits the interest of the vendor more. But since you know that it is your interest that is really at stake, you're going to ensure that, okay, all of the terms, all of the clauses, all of the legal due diligence checks have been concluded. So without the survey plan, you cannot have a valid deed of assignment, because like I said, the survey plan would clearly describe the property, and then it is that description that you will put in the deed of assignment. So your deed of assignment will carry the description of the exact place. If it's a 4-bedroom duplex, the coordinates everywhere, like the tiny, tiny, tiny little detail will be there, so that when anybody picks up your survey plan, they can tell clearly where your property starts and where it stops, right? So that's that. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. So after that, you can now go ahead and prepare your deed of assignment, and then of course you can now complete the other process, which is perfecting the title. But without your due diligence, without checking and verifying the title, without ensuring that your vendor has a good title to transfer to you, then you're simply taking a huge risk on your money. I think I'm going to stop here. I've spoken for more than 10 minutes. I said this was going to be a 10-minute class, short class. So if you have questions for me, feel free to drop them in the comment section. I'll see them and I'll respond to them. Like I said, it's better to be careful than to be sorry. Like you cannot afford to make mistake, especially where the figure is really on the high side, right? But like there's no do or die affair, because like I said, if you've made a mistake, and by the mistake I mean, let's say you've gone ahead to send money to purchase, to actually pay for the property in full without doing all of this thing, you can quickly step in and correct the situation. I do understand that there are instances where it will almost be impossible to correct, but if you're lucky and you're able to correct the situation, by all means, please go ahead and do that immediately. So if there are no questions, it's bye-bye from me. So when I'm not writing content on law and business, this is what I am doing. And I think I'm going to be sharing more about real estate transaction for business owners. If you're interested, if you think that this is what we should do more often, let me know. And I'll put out more information, more video content. At least I know that it will help someone not to make the same mistake that some other people have made. And that's the mistake of buying property without due diligence, or without your lawyer's advice, or without, doing all of what you're supposed to do. All right, so till I come your way again, have a lovely, lovely day. Bye bye.